A good evening to all of you. So today we are starting with a new lesson, and the new lesson is the three questions. So guys, we'll first read about our writer for the day. It's Leo Tolstoy, died in 1910, born in 1828, so lived pretty long if you see in a way. He was a Russian writer who is regarded as one of the greatest authors of all time. He first achieved a literary acclaim in his 20s with his semi-autobiographical trilogy, Childhood, Boyhood, and Youth. What we are learning here, excuse me, the lesson that we have today is also called a parable. Okay. Now, what is a parable? A parable is a short story with a moral lesson. A parable usually has human characters. This parable concerns a king who wants to find the answers to what he considers to be the three most important questions in life. Okay, so I will not literally discuss the summary and the central idea because that will kill the entire story. Okay, so here we start. Have your pens and pencils ready. All right. So once a certain king had an idea. If he always knew the right time to begin everything, if he knew who were the right people to listen to and who to avoid the most important thing to do, he would never fail in anything that he would undertake. And above all, if he always knew what was the most undertake. So this part tells us that once there was a particular king, उसका नाम यहाँ mentioned नहीं है. He always he had certain questions in his mind. The first question was that he wanted to know, that how could he know the right time to begin something. कोई भी चीज शुरू करने का सही वक्त क्या होता है. Let us make this short. He wanted to know about the right time. Okay, सही वक्त. The next question, he wanted to know who were the right people to listen to, or maybe who were the most important people. कौन सबसे important people थे? That is what he wanted to know. ताकि जो important नहीं है उनको वो ignore कर सके, avoid कर सके. And the third one, he wanted to know that what is the most important thing to do. तो for example, अगर आज मुझे दिन में 10 काम करने हैं, so he wanted to learn, he wanted to have the talent. Okay, एक talent चाहिए था उसको, जिससे उसको मालूम पड़े कि सबसे important काम कौन सा है, वो मुझे कैसे मालूम पड़ेगा. Since he was convinced that he was right in thinking this way, he had a proclamation made in his kingdom. What is a proclamation? So a proclamation is a public or official announcement. A proclamation is a public or an official announcement. So he made an announcement in his kingdom. Let us see what. He would give a great reward to anyone who would teach him what the right time was for every action, who the most necessary people were, and how he might know the most important thing to do. Okay. So इनको तीन चीजें जाननी थी, जैसे कि हम सब जानते हैं. First, the right, the most important time, the right time to do something. The next thing that you wanted to know was who were the most important people. Okay. And the last thing that you wanted to know was that sorry, you wanted to know what was the most important thing to do. Okay. So we will continue. Many learned people as in educated people, you can write the meaning. Many learned people as in many educated people came to the court and they all gave different answers. So बहुत सारे पढ़े लिखे ज्ञानी लोग कोर्ट में आए, सब ने अलग अलग आंसर्स दिए. All right. In reply to the first question, some said that to know the right time for every action, one must draw up in advance a table of days, months and years and must live strictly according to it. तो कुछ लोगों ने बोला कि आप अगर टाइम टेबल बना लेंगे और उसको आप स्ट्रिक्टली फॉलो करेंगे, फॉर डेज एंड years and months, so then this problem might get solved. Others declared that it was impossible to decide beforehand. the right time for every action. Now you tell me, how can you decide beforehand कि right time कोई चीज के लिए क्या है? That is impossible because we do not know about the future. But that not letting oneself be absorbed in idle pastimes. तो लोगों ने बोला कि इसका मतलब ये भी है कि आप, कुछ लोगों ने बोला कि आप टाइम पास ना करें, ठीक है, आप अपने वक्त को टाइम पास में ना यूज करें, तो आप शायद राइट टाइम समझ सकते हैं. सो वन शुड ऑलवेज अटेंड टू ऑल दैट वाज गोइंग ऑन एंड देन टू डू दैट वाज मोस्ट एसेंशियल. सो दूसरा ऑप्शन था दैट यू डू एवरीथिंग दैट यू हैव. अगर अगर 10 चीजें हैं तो आपने 10 की 10 चीजें करनी है या सोचना है उनके बारे में एंड देन डिसाइड करना है. ओके, बट even that wasn't possible. Okay, then some people said that the king should instead have a council of people who were wise people who would help him to fix the proper time for everything. तो कुछ लोगों ने बोला कि एक काम करते हैं कि आप एक काम कर लो, that you have a council of people who would help you understand that what is the right time to do something, जैसे कि ministers होते हैं वैसे ही. Now equally varied, as in equally different answers were given to the second question also. Let us see what were the answers given to the second question. Some said the people, the king most, some said that the people were the most important. लोगों ने बोला कि लोग important हैं आपके लिए, जो प्रजा है वो important है आपके लिए. Then some said it's the councillors. Councillors का meaning यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है member of a council, यानी कि his ministers. कुछ लोगों ने बोला कि आपका ministers बहुत important है. Others said priests, यानी कि आपके मंदिर के पुजारी. Others, the doctors, while some said the warriors were the most necessary. So once again, different people gave different opinions. To the third question about what was the most important occupation, some replied that the most important thing in the world was science. So scientists would be the most important occupation. Others said it was skill in warfare. Warfare का मतलब है fight या battle. तो बैटल के अंदर जो भी वॉरियर्स होते हैं, जो आर्मी होती है, वो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट ऑक्यूपेशन है. एंड अदर्स अगेन दैट इट वाज रिलीजियस वर्शिप. बाकियों ने बोला कि नहीं, प्रीस्ट जो होते हैं उनका सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट प्रोफेशन होता है. द किंग वाज कन्विंस्ड बाय नन ऑफ दीज आंसर्स एंड गेव द रिवॉर्ड टू नन. नाउ आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू. आई वांट टू नो फ्रॉम यू, व्हाट डू यू थिंक, हाउ डू यू अंडरस्टैंड कि कोई भी चीज करने का ये सही समय है? हाउ डू यू अंडरस्टैंड कि कुछ भी चीज करने का सही समय ये है? पुट योर आंसर इन द चैट. Put your answer in the chat quickly. Okay, so someone says we can't predict. Henry, when you say when it's more reliable to the situation, तो वही तो बात है ना. How will you understand that this time is the most reliable for a situation? When we have the mood. Wow. Okay, by seeing the right time. Laksh, that is my question, beta. How do you understand the right time? By seeing the right time? It depends on the situation, right? That's what I'm saying. So how do you decide? Basically, जितना मुझे समझ में आया है, हम में से किसी का भी आंसर कन्विंसिंग नहीं है. Okay, my next question to you. Which people are the most important people? How do you decide कि ये इंसान मेरे लिए बहुत important है, necessary है, और ये इंसान मेरे लिए जरूरी नहीं है? All right. Okay, so by the behavior, after experience with them. Okay, some people have given the right answer. The people who will love and help you in difficult times. All right, okay, okay. All right. Okay. Now, the last question: which occupation would you rank as the most important one? Farmers. Okay. Soldier, teacher, mom. Mother is not an occupation. All occupations. Come on, yeah. Do not be so boring, Calista. Most payable, nahi, but most important. Again, according to situation. Okay, okay. See, if you see, we do not have correct answers for all of these things. All right. So similarly, nobody could convince the king. Nobody could convince the king, and so the reward went to nobody. Let us see what do we have further. All right. He decided instead to go to a hermit who was widely renowned for his wisdom. Now let us see who is a hermit. Okay. A hermit is a person who is living in seclusion. That means जो इंसान अकेले अकेले में रहता है जो बहुत ही wise होता है. Another example that I could give you is that a religious person, someone who lives alone for religious reasons. एक ऐसा इंसान जो religious reasons की वजह से अकेला रहता है जिसको आप साधु संत कोई बोल सकते हैं. All right. Okay. So he decided that he would go to a hermit who was widely renowned as in famous and celebrated and well known for his wisdom. The hermit lived in a small hut in a forest, which he never left. So he used to live in a forest in a small hut, and he never left the hut and never left the forest. He spoke only to common folk as in common people. So if a king would go to him, he would not speak to them. किंग लोग से बात नहीं करता था वो सिर्फ बात करेंगे तो कॉमन नॉर्मल लोगों से बात करेंगे. So the king put on simple clothes and approaching the hermit's cell, dismounted his horse and left his bodyguard behind. If you remember, guys, the last time we had a poem about Akbar, if you remember, the poem was called Tansen, where even Tansen's guru did not, respond to kings or people who were very wealthy and rich. He always spoke with people who were very common, poor people, right? So यहाँ पर भी ऐसा ही कुछ था. So the king dismounted as in he got off his horse and left the bodyguard behind ताकि वो एक normal इंसान की तरह जा पाए. When the king arrived, the hermit was digging the ground in front of his hut. He greeted the king but went on digging. King को उसने greet तो किया, hello बोला, but अपना काम करते रहा. The hermit was frail. Please write the meaning of the word frail. Frail means weak. Hermit was frail and weak, बड़े कमजोर दिख रहे थे. And each time he struck the ground with the spade. I'm sure you all know what is a spade. A spade is a digging tool. And turned over a little earth. He he breathed heavily. So उन्होंने जैसे ही थोड़ा डिग करते थे, थोड़ी मिट्टी हटाते थे, तो बाद में बहुत जोर से ब्रीथ कर रहे थे. यानी बड़े कमजोर से थे. The king went up to him and asked and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer three questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I most need? And to whom should I therefore pay most attention? And what affairs are the most important and need my first attention? So ये मेरे तीन questions हैं. मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप मेरे सारे के सारे questions को answer करें. The hermit listened to the king but said nothing. He just spat on his hand and resumed digging. I have a question to all of you. Why do you think he spat on his hand? Why did he spit on his hand? अपने ही हाथ पे spit क्यों किया? Okay, if you ever happen to watch cricket, you will see that the fielders usually spit on their hands. And why do they do it? They do it to get a better grip. Okay. No, Preet, he did not know whether he was a king or not. All right. So he spat on his hand and he started. All right. The king watched in silence for a while. Then, feeling sorry for the hermit, he said, "You are tired. Let me take the spade and work a while for you." The hermit silently handed over the spade and sat down on the ground. When he had dug 2 beds, the king stopped and repeated his questions. The hermit again gave no answer, but rose, that is, he stood up, stretched out his hand for the spade, and said, "Now rest a while and let me work a bit." But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. 1 hour passed, and another. The sun began to sink behind the trees, and the king at last stuck the spade into the ground and said, "I came to you, wise one, for an answer to my questions. If you can give me none, please say so, and I will go home." So king finally अपना जो patience था वो खो दिया, and he said, "See, I have come here, wise man, for an answer to my question. And if you don't want to give me the answers, no problem. Just tell me that. मेरे को बोल दो कि आपके पास answer नहीं है, and I will go home. There's no point waiting here." "Here comes someone running," said the hermit. Finally कुछ तो बोला. "Let us see who it is." The king turned round and saw a bearded man came running out of the forest. The man held his hands. Just a second. God knows what's this. So the man held his hands so pressed against his stomach, and blood was flowing from under them. So this man who came was a wounded person. उसका जो पेट था उसमें से खून बह रहा था. And here there is a student who says, "Sir, bearded man, आप ही हो क्या वो?" नहीं नहीं भाई मैं नहीं. Okay, so a lot of blood was flowing under from his stomach. When he reached the king, he fainted, that is, he lost consciousness and fell to the ground, moaning feebly as in a sound of pain. जब भी आप बहुत pain में थोड़ा आवाज निकालते हो, that is called moaning feebly. The king and the hermit unfastened the man's clothing, unfastened as in took off his clothes. Feebly का मतलब है weakly. So the man and so the hermit and the king, they took off his clothes. There was a large wound in his stomach. The king washed it as well as he could. उसको clean किया उन्होंने king ने, and bandaged it with his handkerchief and a towel the hermit had. But the blood would not stop flowing, and the king again and again removed the bandage, soaked with warm blood, with warm water he actually, soaked with warm water, and washed and rebandaged the wound. When at last the blood stopped flowing, the man revived as in he came back to consciousness and asked for something to drink. The king brought some fresh water and gave it to him. Meanwhile, the sun had set and it had become cool. So the king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into the hut. The man lay there quietly with his eyes closed. By now, the king was so tired after his walk and the work he had done that he lay down himself and also fell asleep. तो किंग आखिर में इतना थक गए कि थोड़ा ठंडा भी हो गया तो वो खुद भी वहीं पर सो गए. Okay, he himself slept over there in the hut. When he awoke in the morning, it took him some time to remember where he was and who was the strange bearded man lying by his side and gazing intently, gazing as in a steady or an intent look, a steady or an intent look, that is gazing intently as in seriously. Intently का मतलब होगा seriously at him. "Forgive me," said the bearded man in a weak voice. When he saw that the king was awake and was looking at him, the king was now puzzled. वो थोड़े shocked थे कि ये आदमी माफी क्यों मांग रहा है. "I do not know you and I have nothing to forgive you for." मैं आपको जानता भी नहीं और मैं आपको माफी किस बात की दूं? You do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of yours who swore as in took an oath, एक कसम ली थी जिसने, to take an oath, to revenge, to take vengeance, to take revenge, बदला himself on you because you executed his brother and seized his property. तो ये बियर्ड आदमी ने बोला कि मैं आपको जानता हूँ, क्या आप वही इंसान हैं जिसने मेरे भाई को का मर्डर करवा दिया, उसकी पूरी प्रॉपर्टी ले ली और इसके लिए मैंने कसम खाई थी कि मैं बदला लूंगा और आपको मार दूंगा. I knew you had gone alone to see the hermit, and I resolved to kill you on your way back. But the day passed and you did not return. So I came out of my ambush as in a place of hiding before attack. So मैं वहां से बाहर आ गया to find you. Your bodyguards recognized me and wounded me. तो तुम्हारे bodyguards ने मुझे पकड़ लिया और मुझे मारा. I escaped from them, but would have bled to death had you not dressed my wound. मैं जैसे तैसे उनसे भागा. I somehow managed to escape, but I would have bled to death. यानी मेरा इतना blood निकल जाता that I would have died because of that. But fortunately, you met me and you dressed my wound. Dressed as in you put up a cloth and you tied my wound so that it doesn't bleed anymore. I wished to kill you, but you have saved my life. So ये बोल रहे हैं, ये admits कि मैं आपको actually मारना चाह रहा था, but आपने मेरी जान बचा ली. Now if I live and if you wish it, I will serve you all my life. अब अगर मैं जिंदा रहता हूँ और आप चाहते हैं कि मैं जिंदा रहूं, तो मैं आपको सर्व करना चाहूंगा. I would like to work for you all my life. The king was very glad, very happy to have made peace with an enemy so easily and to have gained him for a friend. The king was really happy कि यार एक दोस्त था, एक दुश्मन था जो दोस्त बन गया है और पीसफुल हो गया है सब कुछ. He not only forgave him, but said he would send his men and his own physician to attend him. तो अगर आप देखोगे तो किंग भी बहुत ही काइंड इंसान है, बहुत ही अच्छे दिल का इंसान है. एंड ये जो bearded man था, even if you see, even he is now see, he was really angry that his brother was killed. But at the same time, if you see, you know, कोई और रहता तो शायद बचने के बाद किंग को वापस से मार सकता था क्योंकि किंग सोया हुआ था. He had a golden opportunity to do so, but he did not do it. Instead, he was so honest that he accepted the truth, and the king was so grateful that he forgave also. क्योंकि माफी करने के लिए बहुत बड़ा दिल चाहिए. And I am very sure that the king was a very good human being as well. And he said, "Do not worry, you rest now, and I will send my doctor to attend you." The king then took leave of him and went out of the hut to look for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to beg for an answer to the questions he had asked. The hermit was outside, on his knees, sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before. The king approached as in went to him, and said, "For the last time, I pray you to answer my questions, wise man." "You have already been answered," said the hermit, still crouching as in, sitting or kneeling down, अपने नी से बैठे हुए थे, crouching on his thin legs and looking up at the king who stood before him. "What do you mean?" asked the king. "Do you not see?" replied the hermit. If you would not, if you had not pitied my weakness yesterday and stayed, just a second, everyone, and stayed to dig these beds for me, you would have gone back and been killed by that man. बोला अभी तुम सोचो, अगर कल तुम मेरे वीकनेस पे पिटी यानी कि सिंपैथी नहीं खाते, दया नहीं खाते, तो तुम वापस चले जाते. एंड अगर तुम वापस चले जाते तो तुम मारे जाते. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds, and I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business. Afterwards, the most important time was when you were attending to that man. For if you had not bound his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. So he was the most important man, And what you did for him was your most important business. Remember, then there is only one time that is important now. It is the most important time because it's the only time when we have any power. So the most important time is present. क्योंकि पास्ट हो चुका है, फ्यूचर आपको मालूम नहीं है, आपका कंट्रोल खाली आपके प्रेजेंट पे है. तो जो भी वक्त सही है वो अभी है, यही टाइम पर है, यही मोमेंट पे. Because this is the only time when we have any power. After this moment, we will have no power. All right. The most necessary person is the one with whom you are. I saw some students who already answered this question when I had asked you, who is the most important person? And you people said, people give different answers. But some of you give this answer, the person with you are right now is the most important person. Why? Because you do not know whether you will ever have dealings with anyone else. आपको नहीं मालूम है कि ये इंसान जिसके साथ आप मिल रहे हो, आप उसको वापस कभी मिलोगे क्या? आपको नहीं मालूम है कि ये इंसान नेक्स्ट मोमेंट आपके साथ में रहने वाला है कि नहीं रहने वाला है. You don't know whether this person will go away forever. You do not have an idea. So the most important person is the person you are with. So when you are with a particular person, make sure that you give proper attention to the person, because that person is the most important person for you right now. And the most important thing is to do this person good, because for that purpose alone were you sent into this life. और जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज जो करनी है वो ये करनी है कि जो इंसान आपके सामने है उसके लिए अच्छा करे, उसको हेल्प करें, उसके लिए आप जो भी अच्छा कर पाए आप करें. And this is what is the third answer to your third question. So guys, this is what was the lesson. Now what I will do is I will solve your doubts, so you can post your doubts, and I will also give you your homework. So your homework is page number 55, English workshop. Activity 1, which is true or false. Activity 2, यहाँ पर आपको हर एक पैराग्राफ के साथ एक टाइटल दिया गया है, वो आपको मैच करना है. Okay. Activity 2. Activity 3. So these are the character traits, यानी कि qualities of the king and the hermit. सब mixed up है. आपको बताना है कि hermit की कौन सी qualities थी और king की कौन सी qualities थी. So activity 3. Then we'll go to activity 4 so that you can complete the tree diagram. Activity 4. Then you will go for activity 6. You will add the correct answer. जैसे कि varied का मतलब होता है different. Many learned people came to the court and gave the same answer, correct answer, different answer, wrong answer. So the answer is different answers. So आपको ये करना है activity 6. इसके बाद you will go for activity 8. Okay, you will go for activity 8. All right. And activity 10A and B. So your homework in totality is activity 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10A, 10B. This is going to be your homework. You can ask me your doubts now. I will answer your doubts. Okay, but the king still murdered his brother. Yes, he did murder his brother. For what reason, we don't know. Now it's Hindi 50 ka lecture iske baad. Meaning of mourning is a cry of pain. What is the meaning of hermit? Hermit is a person who lives alone in forests for religious reasons. Ambush is a place where you hide. So ambush bolte. The homework is activity number 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10A, 10B. Asta, undertake means the work that you're supposed to take up. The work that you're supposed to take up. What is the second and the third question King had? Yes, Yadav, I really request you to please go to the recording and check it better because it was mentioned a lot of times. इसी बहाने आपका रिवीजन भी हो जाएगा. Meaning of intently as in seriously. You can solve it wherever you want. A real mediator is a person who can meditate in a disco. Okay, Tish. No lecture for Hindi 100, it's Hindi 50. Morning the meaning has been mentioned. The term bed is used for the place there, which was dug because flower bed होता है ना, flower bed जिसपे आप अंदर सीज डाल के उसको flowers उगाते हैं, इसके लिए उसको bed बोलते हैं. Frail is weak. If you didn't get an English paper till now, contact your center head or your center staff. The meaning of morning has been given a lot of times. Okay.